Alright, in today's video I'm in the garage with my 2005 CRV and I'll be talking about how to replace your engine cooling fan switch that's located in the radiator. My wife came home yesterday and said that the CRV had overheated when she was on her way home. She had stopped at a drive-thru and noticed that the temperature gauge started climbing rapidly until it got almost into the red area, and she said she heard the cooling fan kick on when it got into the red, and she turned off the car really quick, obviously, so it wouldn't overheat. After letting the car cool down, she started home and it stayed cool the rest of the way home. This told me two things. Number one, it told me that it obviously wasn't something of an internal problem or a thermostat problem, because as long as the car was moving, it stayed cool, which means air blowing over the radiator, it was able to do its job. So I immediately suspected that the fan had a problem. I was able to recreate the issue, luckily, in my driveway yesterday, and I'm going to show you how I did that. Alright, so I brought the car in the garage. I just checked, some of the things that you would want to check anytime you have a cooling system problem. Check the radiator cap after it cooled down. Make sure that there was enough radiator coolant in the radiator. Then I checked the coolant overflow bottle. It was full of Honda coolant, so we're good there. I also noticed that when the vehicle was running and up to temperature, the upper radiator hose, which is located right here, is warm. It's hot, which indicates that the thermostat is open and coolant is flowing through the system, so that's good. Like I told you, I immediately suspected the fans because of what she said, how they only turned on when it was like into the red, which means that it's unlike a lot of other modern cars, these CRVs, a lot of Hondas have a fan switch, which is actually located on the radiator in this year range, and the older ones is located in the head of the vehicle. But what it does is hot coolant passes over that switch, and when it gets to a certain temperature, the switch closes and it sends a signal to a relay to turn on the cooling fans on the engine. That's one possibility, that it could be the fan switch. Another possibility is that a relay could be bad, and your relays for your fans are located in this box right here. If you flip it over, you can actually see it shows a little picture of a fan on a radiator. So you can try switching a couple relays around. This next one's for your horn, so you can try switch it around. If your horn doesn't work, it's a good indication that the relay is bad. They are the same relay, so if your horn doesn't work, most likely you just fixed your problem. You can get a new relay for your horn, temporarily leave it that way. But in my case, that wasn't the issue. Everything tested out there. Next thing I wanted to do was check to make sure that the fans themselves works, and I'll show you how to do that. Alright, I'm sitting here in the vehicle. There's two ways that your fans can come on. The first way is with the fan switch, which I talked about when the coolant reaches a certain temperature. The second way is anytime you turn on the air conditioner and the compressor comes on, it will activate the fans, because that's what pulls air over the condenser. So we can make the fans turn on just by turning on the air conditioning. So all you got to do is put your key in. Don't start it, just turn it to on. And then make sure you're in your max AC position, and just rotate the switch one click to the right. Alright, the next thing to try is to jumper the fan switch itself. That's how we're going to determine if it is the switch. So you'll want to get your car up to operating temperature, or to where it's about to overheat. Don't let it overheat. Let the gauge just start to climb again. That way you know you're at the temperature where your fan switch should engage. And then what you can do is, underneath the car, there's this trim piece of plastic that's right behind the bumper. And use a cat claw type tool to remove the fasteners. You only need to remove all the ones along the front, just enough to where you can pull this down here. And then up inside of here, you see that little brown piece of plastic in the middle. That is your fan switch that screws into the bottom of the radiator. Here, I've already unplugged it, is your gray pigtail. all you need to do is jumper the two connections in the pigtail. So if you look, in the pigtail there's two metal contacts. Just take a paper clip or a safety pin and touch those two contacts together while the key is turned into the run position, but make sure the car is not running. And if your fans come on, you know that the wiring is good all the way up to the switch, which just leaves one thing that could be the problem. The switch itself is not actuating. And this is a somewhat common problem on older vehicles. We'll jumper the connection here. See, so if our paper clip is in, you can hear the fans turn on, which means that the relays, the wiring, the fans, everything is good. The only problem is the fan switch itself. So now that we've diagnosed the fan switch to the proper process of elimination, I'll show you how to replace it. Alright, so I went ahead and picked up a new fan switch, and I was kind of surprised to find out it's a little more confusing than you might think to get a switch. When you look it up on the Honda parts website, there are actually two switches, one with the part number 003 at the end and one with the part number 004. One says a Nippon and the other one is a different name. It depends on the type of thermostat you have. And as you may know, if you have a CRV and you do work on it yourself, you'll know that a lot of the parts you buy depend on where it was manufactured, whether it was manufactured in the United Kingdom or Japan or Canada, anywhere else. You know, sometimes the parts were a little bit different. So the Honda dealer I first called didn't really understand the difference. It just said that the one 003 was for all vehicles as a replacement, and another dealer I talked to said that the 004 was for Japanese ones and the 003 was for the others. So in my case, mine was made in the United Kingdom, so I got this part number here with 003. Now, I'll caution you about buying a aftermarket fan switch at a parts store. I know it's tempting to run out and spend about $25 to buy a cheap one at Advanced Auto Parts, AutoZone, wherever, but the problem is, read the reviews. You will see that they fail very quickly. Sometimes they don't even work right out of the box, as is a lot of the cases. Even places that have a higher level, more expensive one with a lifetime warranty, you will be using that warranty. You will be replacing it sooner than later. So I'm just going to tell you, this was expensive. This was about $68. You can find it cheaper if you go on Amazon. They go for around $40. So, if you got a few days you can live without the car, order on Amazon. I wanted to get it back in service, so I went over to a Honda dealer nearby, and even with the discount, it was still about $68. So just keep that in mind. You do get what you pay for. The first one in this car lasted 170,000 miles, so I'm going with an OEM replacement. It should last just as long. So I went and got the CRV put up on some blocks here just to get the front end a little bit higher. What that'll do is it'll make the coolant tend to run to the back of the block. There's two ways we can do this. We can drain the radiator through the drain plug and then take the fitting out, put it back in. Or what I'm probably going to try to do is to remove the old sensor and very, very quickly, while I have a drain pan underneath, put the new sensor in. And hopefully I will only lose the minimal amount of coolant that we can just pour back into the system. This thing recently had the coolant change. There's no reason for me to go ahead and put new coolant in at this time, so I'm going to try to recycle the old stuff, just lose a little bit, and get the new sensor in. You do not need any kind of thread sealer. It uses a rubber O-ring to seal it. So get the old one out. We'll get this one up in place and start threading it real quick. Probably going to make a little bit of a mess, but if we can do it without losing too much coolant, that'll be a good thing. That way we don't have to burp the system and do all that type of stuff. So let me get it set up for that, and we'll get down below. Alright, so the only tools you should need is obviously your new sensor. and a 24, number 24 metric deep socket. That's the size we need to fit that. Alright, so got a pan in place. And we'll get our wiring out of the way here for a minute. Alright, so in addition to the deep socket, I'm also going to need an extension, just because the frame here is right in the way. We'll come up behind the frame to break it loose, and then we'll take it out by hand loosening it. Alright, now once we break it loose, before it starts leaking, go ahead and just use our fingers so if you're quick, I'm not going to lose much coolant. I've already got it in and tightened down just enough to stop losing coolant. I've lost maybe a couple drops. Caught the rest of it in my pan. Then we'll go ahead and snug it down. You don't want to crank it down too tight, just snug it down. Alright, we checked for leaks, we got in, we started the vehicle, we're going to let it come up to operating temperature. Best way to do this is to use a scan tool that plugs into your OBD2 port down here. I personally use something called a Blue Driver for situations like this. It connects to my phone via Bluetooth. As you can see, I can watch the coolant level, the temperature level come up as I sit here. And the gauge is not really a reliable way to do this because it doesn't really move to hot until it's like 230 plus degrees. So your fan should be coming on between 195 degrees and around 200 degrees, just depending on the variance in the fan switch. Anything much higher than 200 degrees and it's not coming on indicates your fan switch may be bad and may have a problem. So we're just going to sit here and watch the temperature come up and make sure our fan actually comes on. Make sure that once your thermostat opens around 194 degrees, you check your upper radiator hose, make sure it's hot. That means that coolant's flowing through the system, and then check for leaks again just to make sure there's no small leaks down around the bottom where you were working. And don't be surprised if it takes forever to come up to operating temperature, especially if it's kind of cool outside. These little Honda engines run cool and they take forever to heat up. So just rev it a little bit, or you can take it for a short drive, try to get it up. Alright, the fans just finally kicked on. They came on at 212 degrees, which is a little higher than I thought they would. Now they're off at 205 degrees. So apparently Honda likes to let the engine run a little hot, but the gauge still, even at 212 degrees, it was below the halfway point. So that is normal operating temperature for this vehicle. So it does appear to be working good. After the fan came on for just about 20 seconds, the temperature is back down under 200 degrees. So we know that that fixed our problem. Hopefully no more overheating in traffic. So hopefully this video was helpful for you. If it was, be sure to like it, subscribe to my channel, and if you have any questions, leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time.